Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to Embody Your Soul Mission. I'm your host, Rayania Shayen. Today, I would like to introduce to you one of the most influential, I would say, spiritual teacher throughout my dark night of the soul and my awakening journey. And this is Sara Landon. Um, I would just jump right into the part. Welcome, Sara, and I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here to have this conversation with you and to share the council's wisdom with your incredible community. As you mentioned, I have been a channel for the council, and in that, providing spiritual guidance and wisdom for all who are ready to fully step onto this awakening journey and to come into realization of really their soul's mission and embodying everything that they're here to be. So I'm very excited for this conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, so I know, Sara, you are really living the realization of your full potential. And I know I've been observing you, following you, and I know you really have gone through a lot of steps through the corporate job and your own awakening journey to now. Would you like to share a little bit about how you come to this beautiful place of self-realization?
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, I was in the corporate world at a very young age. I got involved in personal developments and the teachings of how to create success and how to really become what you want to be in life. And so I started off in the corporate world, had an amazing opportunity to be part of the technology field, and met some amazing, wonderful clients and people and coworkers, and just had a really wonderful experience. Truly, it was a lot of work. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was off to work and sat in traffic and was at the office all day and sat in traffic on the way home and then worked some more. And I really wasn't very conscious of the question of, are you living your purpose or are you living your highest potential, until I went through a series of events. My brother was killed in a car accident. I had an experience of having cancer very young. I went through a divorce. I ended up moving from the place I thought I would always live to a different place. And all of this at the time seemed like my life was falling apart and everything was falling away. But I know now that everything was really falling into place, and it was all leading me to my own highest potential and to live my own greater calling. And I have to say, I never would have thought, if anyone would have told me, your path to your greater calling is going to lead to being a channel of ascended master beings and teaching the wisdom of how to live a joyful, peaceful, abundant life filled with well-being and beauty and freedom. But that is where the path led me. And they said very early on when I started channeling the council that if you will just live this wisdom, you will live a life beyond your wildest dreams. And I get to be in the incredible realization of that now. I really did not want to step out in the world and say that I was a channel, but the teachings that were coming through from the council absolutely changed my life and were the answers to the deepest, biggest questions that I had had for as long as I could remember. And so I just couldn't not share their incredible wisdom with the world. And I couldn't have imagined the beautiful community that has been created through our master's class advanced program and the opportunities that have come from it. Last year, I did a course with Mike Dooley, who was a dear mentor of mine, on the art of channeling, which led to some opportunities to write some books for Hay House, one in collaboration with Mike Dooley, and my first book with the council that'll be coming out in November of 2022, which is called The Wisdom of the Council, which is channeled messages for living your purpose. And I truly just couldn't have imagined it. I am so very grateful. And again, I know it is just living this wisdom, even when your logical mind wants to tell you you need to work harder and figure it out and make things happen and push and force and effort. I have found that when I really come into stillness and allow the next perfect step to come and follow the energy through raising your own vibration and your consciousness, things happen out of the blue, miracles show up, divine orchestration. There's just absolutely no better way to live your life than in this beautiful flow of the infinite well-being and abundance that is always available to everyone. So I do believe I sort of went through every possible experience you could have of struggling and making it far more difficult than it needed to be. I see now that the things that at the time seemed like the worst thing that could possibly happen ended up being some of the greatest gifts of my life. And I look back and know that they were truly happening for me, which again is the teaching of the council. So whoever you are and wherever you are, and no matter how stuck you feel, or no matter how much you feel like you can't live your purpose, I absolutely assure you that you can, no matter what. And it is a moment by moment by moment unfolding. And one day you'll just realize, oh, wow, I'm really living this. And I really do know what my highest potential is. And I really do know what it means to embody and live your soul mission. So I love this conversation.
I'm just very curious. So there are two directions I feel very drawn. One is to ask you, like, what it feels like when you are really living your potential, when you are living your soul mission. What does it feel like?
You're just living your highest joy. You're just doing what you love. In fact, there's a couple of things that I would say about this. One of the things that the council would say is, before you get out of bed, imagine your perfect day. What would your perfect day be? And at that time in my life, I had no idea how I would ever live my perfect day, because my perfect day was waking up, rested, when my body's ready to get up, in this peaceful, harmonious space with my animals and my nature and my sanctuary. And I would ease into the day and do the things I love, spend time with my animals. And then I would exercise or do yoga or something that felt good to me. And then I would just have conversations with people I love all day long about spirituality and consciousness and human potential. And then I would have a wonderful dinner with my partner and enjoy some music or watching a sunset. And my life was about as far from that as it could possibly be when I first started the practice of imagining my perfect day. And yet now I realize this is my soul's mission, is as a messenger, as an uplifter, as a guide for others. And that's what I do all day. I have amazing conversations with people I love, exploring our highest potential and the wisdom and the guidance to really live your purpose. And I couldn't imagine anything more joyful. Sometimes that's in interviews like this, in conversations. Sometimes it's in our master's class program. Other times it's on our podcast. Other times it's a course we're doing, a collaboration with someone else. But that's really what my life is now, is having the amazing conversations I always dreamed of having. So one of the things I loved to do at that time of my life is I had a couple of really good friends, one of which was my aunt, who, if we got on the phone, we would be on the phone for 2 or 3 hours, and every time would fly by. We'd be like, wow, that was amazing. And I just didn't think that that was living my purpose. I didn't think that that was my highest potential. And so sometimes you don't realize you are actually doing the things that are part of embodying your soul's mission for being here. One of my favorite courses that we ever did is called The 11 Spiritual Roles of the Soul. And it brought through this awareness that there are all sorts of different roles. In fact, very early on, people would say, well, you're a healer. And that really never resonated fully with me. And when the council brought through the 11 spiritual roles, of which healer is one of them, but some people are healers of land. Some people are healers of people. Some people do Reiki. Some people do animal healing. There's all sorts of different ways that can express through you. Messenger is another one. I particularly resonate with that because that's what I do, is I bring through messages from higher levels of consciousness and higher wisdom. And some people do that through writing books. Some people do that through poetry. Some people do that through writing songs. It's the messages that come through in songs. Other people have communication from angels or from loved ones on the other side as a messenger. There's all different ways. Some people are teachers and they're teaching joyfulness or they're teaching mindfulness. To me, that is part of embodying your soul mission as a messenger. Say that 3 times fast. Connector is another one of them. When the council brought that through, I thought, oh, I can think of people in my life that are connectors. And that's just what they do naturally. They're always fixing people up. They're always saying, oh, you got to meet this person. And I didn't really think of myself as a connector. But after the awareness of that came through, I started looking for opportunities to connect people with other people, which began to expand our global master's class community to this incredible community of connectors and people that are connecting each other all over the world. And what's the result of that and what's happening from that is reconnection with our soul family, which is just so amazing. Yeah. One of the other roles is a guide. And at first, most people were like, oh, that's not me. But now I would say all of our people in our community in their master's class advanced program would say they know they're here to be guides, to build that bridge into higher levels of consciousness and to bring lower levels of consciousness into higher levels of consciousness, not because you're judging lower levels of consciousness, but just through your ability to be a guide into different levels of consciousness that are available to you is part of your soul mission. So awareness helps tremendously, because for me, when I was in the corporate world and I knew that was no longer where I was called to be, but I didn't know what it was. I really didn't have any awareness of all of these different roles that we are here to play as a spiritual being having a human experience. So if you like to paint, we have many people in our community who are incredible artists, some that have no training at all and are channeling the consciousness of different animal collectives in paintings or in abstract paintings that are coded, which is another one of the spiritual roles, is being a coder. And they think, oh, well, I'm just painting these things and I don't know what they mean, but yet there's sacred codes and sacred geometry within the painting that people are doing. And so they think, well, how am I going to turn this into a business, or how am I going to get paid? And that all just happens really naturally. It's this process of giving and receiving. And from my perspective, I think for most people, it's that we can receive a paycheck because that's okay. But to really receive for what you are giving, some people struggle with that. And so when you really become aware of that, giving and receiving are one. And if you are giving, and not opening up to receive, you will feel disharmony in your body. You might feel great exhaustion. You might start getting sick. You may start feeling resentful and not really understand why. It's because you are giving and not allowing yourself to receive. And the council says giving and receiving are one. So for most people, all they really need to focus on is receiving, because they are naturally, inherently givers. So when you begin to tune your awareness on actually receiving, you start allowing yourself to come into this beautiful, balanced way of living in alignment to your infinite abundance.
Yeah. So actually 11 spiritual role is how I got to know you. And when I read it, I was like, wow, I must find out more about this. And that started my journey with you through the community. And I feel like people get to, not to box us, but to find the resonance of actually what we are good at, right? Actually, I remember you mentioned that we all have a few roles that we are playing each and every moment. And it's really about recognizing and really appreciating our own gifts. and about the receiving, I think I think that's one of the most common questions when people are looking for fulfilling life purpose or mission, and about abundance, financial abundance, or maybe receiving love from the loved one, because a lot of objection from the family, when someone say, oh, I decided to quit my job to become a Reiki master, then people say, so how do we really open to receive, whether it's money, love, or community? Yeah.
Really good question. I'm going to share two personal experiences with you in hopes that if anyone else is having the same experience, this will help you to shift that. I grew up in a very loving Christian family, and I grew up in the church. My family really only knew the teachings of Christianity and Jesus, and that's all they had been exposed to. They really didn't know about Buddhism or Hinduism or metaphysics or spirituality, as we might refer to it. Although I did have a very spiritual aunt who was involved in that in the early 80s, and was a very powerful influence in my life. But my path to channeling, when I first started channeling, I thought, no one is ever going to hear this, and we are never telling anyone about this. And over time, it just continued to expand, and I got to the place where I started to share my channeling on social media platforms that my family were part of. I had a website where it openly shared my channeling. And at one point in my life, my dad came to me and said, Sarah, I just don't understand what you're doing. How could you leave your big corporate job? What is the counsel? Why can't you use your normal voice? What are you doing? And he said, I don't understand. And really, in that moment, I realized the council had divinely prepared me just weeks before that, when they did a channel that talked about when you love and accept yourself, when you approve of yourself, then everyone in your life will reflect back to you that acceptance and approval. And I really had come to the place where I could not share this with the world. And I imagined my life 20, 30 years in the future, if I would have just stayed in the corporate world and not followed this path and not shared the council's wisdom. And I couldn't imagine it. And so I came to the point where no matter what it took, I had to live my truth and live my purpose and share my gift with the world. And I just came to this place where I said, if nobody understands and nobody accepts it, and my family disowns me for that, I'll be okay, because I love myself and I know this is what I'm here to do. And I had that realization just weeks before, maybe even days before my dad said that. So in the moment when he said, I don't understand, I was at peace.
Yeah.
I didn't argue with him. I didn't react. I wasn't triggered. I was just in peace. And I kind of lighthearted said, well, Dad, you didn't understand what I did when I did IT infrastructure consulting services either. So it's okay. It's okay if you don't understand. It's okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
And it was just, he said, okay. Now, fast forward, my dad is probably one of my biggest advocates and supporters. He is involved in the work. He has shared with my family more about what channeling is, and he's shared some of his own experiences that he's had with receiving messages from the other side when my grandfather passed away. And so if you can really come to this place where you're doing what you're called to do, and you are living your greater calling, even if you have no idea where it's going to lead, and you love and accept and approve of yourself, then you can be in peace. And because you are in peace, you will not react in a triggered way. I have to say, I've seen this time and time again when someone is following their path and they say, well, for example, my family's really worried about me. They're worried about money, or my friends are really worried about me and they don't know what I'm doing. They think I'm crazy or nuts or whatever. And I'll tell you, if you yourself are in doubt of what you're doing, if you're scared, if you're in fear, if you're talking about how you don't know where the money's going to come from, or how nothing's working out, or how difficult it is, they are just reflecting that back to you. And so when you are in peace and you are in joy and you are doing what you love, your family and your friends are going to also be in peace. But most of the time, what they're reflecting back to us is our own fear, our own stories in our head. And so when you really come into harmony within yourself about your past, then you will find that everyone in your life reflects that back to you. And if they don't, this was years ago, I had a family member who I never would have thought would condemn my channeling, and actually did, and said, I don't want to be in your life. And if you're doing this, it's not what I believe in. And I can't be friends with you, even though they were a family member. And in that moment, I was surprised and shocked and hurt. And instantly I heard the council say, this is not about you. And I just heard the message, this is not about me. This is not about me. And I went, okay. And they said, just stay in your heart and stay in love and breathe and just continue to be you. And so I did. I didn't overly push it, but I still wish this person a happy birthday and a Merry Christmas, and just stayed in my heart, and didn't get a response sometimes, and got a real short response sometimes. And that's okay, because to think of them on their birthday and not wish them a happy birthday didn't feel like love to me, didn't feel like a loving thing to do. So I followed love, and I don't know exactly how long it was, but probably a couple of years later, this person actually came to me and said, I am so sorry. I was wrong. I couldn't be more proud of you. I love you. And again, that person is now probably, one of my closest friends and mentors and family member. And so, the first part is to practice what we teach and to live it yourself. And to me, integrating and living the council's wisdom is priceless, choiceless. It works 100%. And I know the difficulties of following your soul's mission, and that people may not understand, but they are watching you, and you are inspiring them more than you realize. And you are also inspiring them to think about their own dreams and their own heart's desires. Even if they maybe don't say that to you, if you continue to shine your light and follow your heart and live your purpose, you are inspiring and uplifting everyone around you, whether you realize it or not.
I don't know. Well, sorry, I just get very emotional, really. I just love what you share, and I think it just really resonates deeply. And I think so many people are struggling, whether it's through however it shows up. It's really not about what that thing is. It's about accepting ourselves, right, and believing our own self. And I think I struggle on that journey for the time together with the council as well.
And the next step is then really accepting your worthiness, your self-worth. Really, self-worth is the doorway into realization. There's nothing that could ever happen in this human experience that could threaten your infinite worthiness. Absolutely nothing. And so you're worthy of well-being. You're worthy of abundance. You're worthy of doing what brings you joy. You're worthy of doing what you love. You're worthy of choosing the experiences that you want to have in your life. You're worthy of it. And to me, worthiness is even beyond self-love. Yes, of course, loving yourself. And anytime you're denying love for someone else, you're denying love for yourself. When you're denying love for someone else, even if you're like, no, they really are bad and they really did this terrible thing, in that moment, you are actually denying love for yourself. That's actually what karma is. The same is true for others. as far as it goes with worthiness. If you are denying someone else's worthiness, you're denying your own.
Yeah. I think the question is that, like, a lot of people practice affirmation, or we learn that we are worthy because our existence is worthy itself. But to know that versus to feel that in our heart and to embody that in our daily life, that there seems to be a gap for most of us.
Well, it's being aware in every moment, whether you are allowing your worthiness or doubting it and denying it because you're in your head in some story or some habitual way of thinking about yourself. And it's as simple as just becoming conscious of when you're unconsciously holding yourself in some limiting belief about yourself. And that might mean you need to slow down a little bit. You might need to slow down and take some deep breaths. You might need to spend some more time in nature. You might need to pause more before having an opinion on something or judging something or entangling with something, because you're just activating those beliefs or stories about your unworthiness or someone else's, or your own judgment of yourself or others.
Yeah.
And so just notice it. It's not some big, profound rocket science answer. Just start to become conscious of how you're doubting and denying your own worthiness. Become consciously aware in the moment of what you're giving your power to.
Yeah.
And, I can give you many examples of this from people who were going through financial situations and had creditors calling them, and they didn't want to answer the phone. They didn't want to get out of bed. They felt so terrible about themselves. They had all this debt. They couldn't pay these bills. And all of that is denying your worthiness and denying your infinite abundance and feeling like you're powerless over your life. You're not powerless. And the council said one thing: just practice staying in the moment, staying in your heart, and staying in your power. Creditor calls and says whatever they say. Don't get triggered. Don't react. Don't go into panic or fear. Just breathe, stay in your heart, and stay in your power. And let the highest words come through you, which might be, I really appreciate what you're saying. I'm not in a position right now where I can pay that bill. I understand your frustration, but this is where I'm at in this moment. And just be at peace with that. The same is true with people that are going through difficult things in relationships, whether with a significant other or a child or a parent. Just be in your power. Most of the time, if you're not in your power, it's because you're not in the moment. Council will tell us that all of your power is in the now moment. So if you're worried about something that might happen and you're anxious and fearful, you're not in your power. If you're in some old story from the past, you're not in your power. All of your power is in the now moment. And when we really start to be aware of that and practice being in the moment, we summon more and more of our power. And then you will find that you don't really want to be anywhere but in the now moment, because that's what feels good. And there really comes a time when you don't stress or worry about anything. You really can be in your power in the moment. And no matter what happens, know that you can always come back into the moment, back into your power. And that begins to allow you into a level of confidence and I want to say courage, but it's not really courage. It's just this confident knowing of your power and your worthiness, and allows you to live from a place of pure love, because you're not in fear. You're not in lack and limitation. You're not creating separation. You can live from this state of pure love, and there is no greater power. There really isn't. It's a level of consciousness. It's that heaven on earth. It's that new earth consciousness that we talk about. It's the consciousness of pure love, or what the council refers to as the fifth dimension. And from there, your well-being and abundance is assured. And I can look anybody in the eye and promise you, hey, listen, I was the ultimate push, force, effort, set goals, make, take tons of determined action, push, make it happen, get it done. And just kept getting more of the same. And it wasn't until I really elevated my consciousness and my vibration to that state of pure love that everything began to really flow. And there was just an expansion of more joy, more love, more abundance, more freedom, more creativity, more inspiration, more, of all of those things that is inherently what we're here to realize.
Wow. It's just so beautiful. And I'm sure many were wondering, like, who is this council? They sound very wise and they have shared many, many wisdom. So do you feel that would be a good time to read through the council? Okay.
Yeah. So if you are new to my channeling and the council, I'm just going to close my eyes and take about 3 deep breaths. The council will then bring through a message for us and for you, and you can ask them questions if you wish. You'll notice that my eyes are closed the whole time. If it feels good to you, you might also want to close your eyes too and feel for the vibration. You'll notice that my voice changes a little and the cadence of my speech changes a little, and it's just purely because of the vibration that they're in. My role in it is really to elevate my frequency to a place where I can receive them. And then I'm just essentially translating the consciousness that they are bringing through so that we can receive their highest wisdom and guidance. So just have fun with it. Allow yourself to feel for the vibration. And yeah, here we go. We are so pleased and delighted to have the opportunity to speak with you on this fine and glorious day indeed. And we tell you that while our words to you are important, this is a vibrational experience of remembering the truth of who you really are and why you are here and what you intended when you chose this magnificent life experience, because we assure you your life is meant to be so very good for you. You are here to be all that you desire to be, to have the experiences that you want to have for you, to be the expression of the divine source energy that you are. And through all of that, you will expand consciousness, the greater collective consciousness, and contribute to all that is. You are here to choose. You are here to create. You are a powerful creator of your reality. And there is nothing outside of you that can ever keep you from creating what it is you want to experience in your reality. You are everything you wish to be. You already are. It is all within you, and it always will be. And yet, there is such joy in expansion, in expressing yourself fully, and in choosing the experiences you want to have, because those truly are the desires of your soul, inspired through you. You are here to create in your reality. The ultimate desire of your soul is freedom. The freedom to be who you are, the freedom to do what you're inspired to do, the freedom to create what you want to create. You are here to experience freedom. It is who and what you are. And that which you most want for others, whatever that is, if we were to ask you the question, what do you most want for those that you love? Or what do you most want for your beloved human family? That is what you are here to embody. If it is peace, that you most want for the people you love and for your human family, then it is your job, your soul's mission, so to say, to create peace within you, because the world you see around you is merely a reflection of the world that exists within you. When you bring yourself into harmony, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions into harmony, then your life will come into harmony. When you align to love and you do not deny love for yourself or for anyone, you will have more love in your life, more things to love, more loving relationships, a deeper feeling of love. It could be no other way. You cannot be holding yourself in lack and limitation and draw to you more abundance. You are infinitely abundant. When you align to that within you, everything in the world around you will just reflect how abundant you are, and you will draw to you more and more and more abundance. You don't get what you think you need. You don't get what you say or demand that you want. You don't even get what you affirm about. You get more of what you are. Are you abundant? Then that's the absolute proof that you are drawing to you more abundance. Is your life abundant? Is your life joyful? If so, you will draw to you more joy and more joyful people and more things to be joyful about. It can be no other way. You cannot be sitting in the moment denying that which you desire to experience more of, because you are a force field of consciousness that is made up of particles of infinite creation that are always responding to you. Always. So the formula for creating anything in your life begins with consciousness. Consciousness is what's summoning the energy to move creation into manifested form. When you're in a lower level of consciousness of fear and separation, you're not really summoning the energy that creates everything. All the energy is here for you. It's all your energy. But when you're holding yourself in a lower level of consciousness and a lower vibration and frequency, which you will know because it won't feel very good to you, you are constricting, therefore limiting the amount of source energy that is flowing to you and through you in that moment, which will make it almost impossible to create what it is that you want more of in manifested form, which is why people start to push and force and effort and work hard and struggle and try to manipulate energy because they aren't allowing very much energy. But when you really elevate your vibration and your frequency and raise your consciousness, you begin to become a conduit of source energy. That source energy then moves into form, and all sorts of instant manifestation and true creation starts to show up in your reality. So, understand that you are creator within your own creation of reality. Your ultimate mission is to come into the realization of the truth of who you are. That truth of who you are is consciousness, is energy, is light, is love. And once you do, anything and everything becomes possible for you. And you will live the most magical and amazing life with joy, peace, love, harmony, well-being, abundance, knowing that you are absolutely free to create the life you love. You understand?
Yeah, that's beautiful. So I noticed that even including myself and a lot of people actually are really being called to create something that they do not necessarily know what it is that they are here to do, but they just have to step into that trust. And could counsel shares more about how do we really go into that moment, to be so present that we are able to make the choice or the choiceless choice?
Well, first off, we would expand upon trust.
Mm.
It's not about trusting the universe. It's not about trusting something outside of you. If you are struggling to trust that it's going to work out, it's really about trusting yourself. And it's really about trusting yourself to stay conscious and present and in your power in the moment. Because if you know your habit is to instantly get triggered and to go into fear and react, you know that that unconscious reaction is going to slow your vibration and your frequency. And when you do so, less and less and less is available to you, including inspiration, including creativity, including well-being and abundance. So it's really about trusting yourself that you can always, no matter what, come into the present moment, into your power, take some deep breaths, and let the next perfect step come to you. We also say that there is a big difference between impeccable creation and creating from a place of innocence and joy, and the wanting to make something happen because you feel like you're not enough. I've got to do something because I'm not enough. I've got to prove to someone because I'm not good enough yet. I haven't done enough yet. I'm not there yet. That is lack. That is limitation. That is fear. That is separation. And when you create from that place, you'll just get more of those things. When you know that you are more than enough, and you know that you are worthy, and you are worthy of doing what you love, and worthy of doing what brings you joy, you automatically align to inspiration and creativity and all sorts of energy. But as we mentioned, innocence is an important part of true creation. See, true creation has no agenda. What you want and what you need shows up even before you know you need it. That is true creation. It just shows up and it's a yes. And so most people are trying to figure out how to force energy into something so that they can make money because they are feeling stuck or in lack or in limitation. And it just simply doesn't work that way. And so start to create things that are fun just for the fun of creating. Start focusing on what brings you joy and do that. If it's a walk in nature, if it's music, if it's a beautiful candle lights and a warm bath, do what brings you joy. If it's spending time with your animals or your loved ones, start doing what brings you joy and start creating, and be consciously aware that you are creating just for the joy of creating. Pick some beautiful wildflowers and put them in a beautiful jar and create an arrangement of beautiful flowers. Or understand that when you are cooking a meal, you are consciously creating. Come from that place of creating intentionally. When you are making a plate filled with beautiful, colorful foods, you are creating. When you're typing an email, when you're writing a text, you are creating. If you go get some rocks and paint positive words on them and put them in the park, that is creating. See, children understand creating through innocence, where anything is possible. And yet, through your programming and beliefs in your own not enoughness, you get so far from creating from a place of innocence. When you come back into that innocence and create just for the joy of creating and start to be aware of joy, all of a sudden, inspiration, creativity, and energy will start coming through to you. and you'll see that all sorts of amazing things begin to happen for you to move you on your path of fully embodying your soul mission. You understand?
Yeah, I understand. So one more question. I think often we get caught up in judgment. We would judge others, judge family, and I think very detrimental, we also judge ourselves. Again, I think you mentioned, we judge ourselves not being successful enough, not being productive enough, and all that. And how do we work with that?
We'll answer this briefly, but first we want to explain levels of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
The third dimension, which is where the majority of the human collective consciousness resides, is based on separation. The third dimension is based on separation. You're here, your loved one's over there. You're here, the money you want's over there. You're here, the house you want is over there. You're separate from the resources, from the people, from what you need. And you judge things as bad or wrong. You experience fear, you experience lack, you're in limitation, lack of time, limited amount of resources, limited amount of money. All of that exists in the third dimension, which is determined by your vibration and your frequency. When you start to ask the question, who am I? What's my purpose? You begin to elevate yourself into the fourth dimension of transformation. You can fix things, you can change things. You're not your circumstances, you're not your conditions. And most people get very stuck in this fourth dimension of transformation, always changing, always fixing, always something to fix, always something to heal, always something to process, always something. The step out of the fourth dimension into the fifth dimension, what you might refer to as a new earth, heaven on earth, pure love, oneness consciousness, God consciousness, this state of pure love where your well-being and abundance is assured, where you live in perfect harmony and flow with freedom. Everything you want comes to you. The path out of the fourth dimension into the fifth is letting go of all judgment. Judgment is what keeps you entangled in lower dimensions of consciousness. Judgment of yourself, judgment of others, judgments of circumstances and conditions. When you start to let go of the judgment and live in pure love, you will find the freedom, the abundance, the well-being that you so desire. When you're judging anything, your body is receiving that as judgment of yourself. There's absolutely no reason to judge yourself for anything, ever. You are infinitely and inherently worthy. It's about coming into your wholeness, your perfection, your completeness, your oneness. And so as you become aware of letting go of judgment, you will find yourself more and more in a state of pure love, where a whole new, amazing, miraculous world begins to open up to you. We say there's nothing worth heaven on earth. There's nothing worth heaven on earth. There's no judgment of anyone or yourself that's ever worth heaven on earth. Heaven on earth is a state of consciousness, and it's available to every single one of you in every moment. So, did we answer your question?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much, Counsel.
Really good. Yeah. Remember, you are everything you wish to be. You already are. It is all within you. It always will be. We love you. We love you. We love you. And with that, we are complete. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for bringing through the counsel. I really trust that everybody is experiencing the frequency besides the words. It's just so beautiful. It's so elevating every time listening to the counsel.
Thank you.
So I know that you are very active, passionately sharing the wisdom of the council. You have monthly web membership, you have the podcast, and you are also available on a lot of interviews. Would you like to share like how people can work with you
Yeah,
if they want to
sure.
be?
SaraLandon.com is got lots of resources for you. You can go to SaraLandon.com. You'll see, in fact, an entire tab there that says free resources, which we update twice a month with insights from our channeled messages from the council that month. And amazing resources there. Just peruse through the titles. If something pops out to you, that's a great place to start. I also provide free daily quotes, which I do every single day with the channeled teachings of the council to really help us stay focused and integrate their teachings. We also have a free gift on our website, which is a highlights from our grander perspective, which is one of our top courses that we've done. I also do a Journey of the Master podcast every month, which you can find on our YouTube channel, which is Sara Landon Life at YouTube. There's many videos there. Some are of me sharing how to live and integrate the council's teaching, and others are channel messages from the council. So you can find that on YouTube. If you want more, I really encourage people to join our master's class program. There's an MP3 program where you receive 2 audio channeled messages that are new each month from the council. If you still want more, we have our advanced master's class community. Everybody's a master's. Everybody can join the advanced program if it calls to you. We do a live call every single Wednesday. And the first and third Wednesdays are live channeled calls with the council where you can ask questions to the council. The second and the fourth Wednesday are where I share how to live the council's wisdom. And we also take live questions. Replays are always available. There's over 200 hours of content provided with the master's class advanced program. There's also many courses that we have done, and you can find those in the store. Again, if there's a title or an image that speaks to you, that's a great place to start. The 11 spiritual roles that we talked about is there. Many other courses on grand manifestations, on consciousness, on abundance, whatever speaks to your heart. And just allow yourself to be guided to what you feel. If you're looking for free resources, there's lots of them there. If you're looking to go even deeper and be part of the live channelings or dive deeper into the channeled wisdom from the council, that's available to you as well. So thank you so much. I think we're also going to be providing a free gift to your community, which is a channeled meditation and visualization called Divine Light on Earth. And it really is about illuminating the light for yourself and for all of humankind. It's one of our best meditations. I absolutely love it. It's really powerful, but you'll find many other, actually, I love them all. The visualizations, the meditations from the council are really powerful, but you can find those in the store. So thank you so much for this opportunity to be with you and to be with your community and to share the council. So thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, like, it's definitely such a pleasure listening to you and to your own personal story. And you are definitely a beautiful manifestation and evidence, living proof of living it passionately in your soul mission, in your purpose and realization. So I wonder if there's a last message that you feel like we haven't covered that you would like to share with the audience before we sign off.
Well, I'll just say, I know that at times this path can be very isolating and very lonely. And I know that it can be difficult and you may be doubting what you're doing or why or not sure where this is leading. I promise you, you are surrounded in every moment by this infinite love that is always available to you. If you will just feel into that place, you will feel into the guidance and the protection and the care and the love that is always surrounding you. And you will come to a moment where you will understand why. You will understand what this is all about. You will know that you were being divinely guided in every moment. And you will come to a place of absolute trust in yourself and in the universe. And you will come to this place of just pure love for yourself, for everyone, for this experience. And to me, there's just nothing better. So anything is possible. I promise you, your dreams are in your heart for a reason, and you are worthy of those dreams in your heart. So thank you. I love you all. Appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, I love you so much, Sarah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And
Thank you.
also, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I certainly hope you tremendously enjoy this conversation. I hope it supported you as well on your journey. And so I wish you a beautiful day, enjoying being human, among friends, among people you love. And until next time, bye for now.